The Nylon Curtain was recorded in 1982. Started to write about some weightier subject matter, Vietnam, unemployment, disappointments in life, the diminishing horizons. This was the Reaganomics era, and things weren't going all that well for a lot of people. People were falling through the cracks. I just wanted to address that. It was something I saw happening with friends, even with myself. And I wanted to use the studio as an instrument. We kind of messed around with recording techniques. Even the approach to writing was different. I was writing in the studio, which is a pretty expensive proposition, and didn't really know sometimes what the nature of the recording was until the final mix was done. We went out on the road and we came back and forth and continued to record when that album was out. So it was a rough year. I even had a motorcycle accident in '82 where my thumb got mangled and my wrist got broken, and I was laid up for a couple of months, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to fix my hands. It was kind of a tough time. That was I wrote a song about it called Surprises. It's one of the albums I'm the most proud of. I think maybe if I had to pick, that would be one out of two would be The Nylon Curtain. It was an exhaustive effort. It took a year to record, which is a long time to be in a recording studio. But I was very, very proud of the effort, and still to this day I am. I started writing Allentown before that, before '82, and I didn't have the right words. I think I called it Levittown. Well, I'm living here in Levittown, and there's really nothing going down, because there was nothing else around. Levittown was pretty boring. It's a suburb. Well, I'm living here in Levittown, and there really isn't much around. So those can't be the lyrics. And we used to play in the Lehigh Valley a lot, in places like Bethlehem, Allentown, Muhlenberg College, the Roxy Theater in Northampton. There was like bread and butter gigs for us. We went there often. And I remember some kid saying to me, "You'll never be back here after this." We were starting to get big. "You'll never be back here again." I said, "Yes, I will." "No, you won't, because nobody who ever gets big ever comes back to this town." And I felt bad for that kid. I said, "I'll be back, I'll be back." And then I read about what was going on. The steel industry was starting to collapse in America. And that's where the lyrics came from. They're closing all the factories down. Wow, is that really going to happen? Like, the promise we all grew up with isn't going to be there anymore. And it became Allentown. And I named it Allentown, not because the factories were in Allentown. They were actually in Bethlehem. But Allentown sings better than Bethlehem. Living here in Bethlehem. Now and then. No, town, Allentown. Factories closing down. People still resent that song from there, because they mean, "Where are you from, Allentown?" "Oh, we're living here in Allentown, and they're closing all the factories." People say, "Stop that! That's in Bethlehem." So I apologize. Laura, it's about a relative. Some people think it's about a woman who's kind of stalking you or drives you crazy. But this is about a relative. We all have relatives that we can't divorce, that we can't detach ourselves from, that we have a relationship with, and it's kind of a tortured relationship. But there's a need there. Someone needs you to be there for them, and someone you're related to, someone you can't cut out of your life. And that's what Laura is about. It's one of those things. If you have a conscience and a heart, you can't cut them out. Pressure. That was while I was writing the Nylon Curtain album, and I was stuck for an idea for a song. And somebody who I was working with at the time said, "Well, you look like you're under a lot of pressure." And I went, "Thank you." It kind of connotates pressure. Basically about pressure. That's it. No big hidden meaning there.
when Sgt. Pepper came out in 1967, it was a really incredible listening experience because I'd never heard anything like that before. They did so many different things that had not been heard in pop music or rock and roll. It was revolutionary. They messed with time. They messed with instrumentation. They messed with the length of songs, the lyrics. Everything was different, and the arrangement and of the song "A Day in the Life" was really stunning. It was symphonic, and it starts. I read the news today, oh boy, about a lucky man who made the grade. Though the news was rather sad, it's done with a guitar. Well, I just had to laugh. I saw the photograph. He blew his mind out in a car. And it's very, very soft, and it's plaintive, and then it builds. And then it goes into this big middle section. Woke up, fell out of bed, tried to comb across my head. Found my way downstairs and drank a cup. Looking up, I noticed I was late. Grabbed my coat, grabbed my hat. So these very, very different musical interludes that are combined again. And the Beatles did this often, but this particular song, the form of it was incredible. When I was writing Goodnight, Saigon, I realized this has to have a treatment like that too. This needs some theater in it. It needs some symphonic scope in it. So I started the first part. Very plain. We met as soulmates with a guitar on Paris Island. We left as inmates from an asylum, and we were sharp as knives. We were so gung-ho to lay down our lives. My throat's pretty rough right now. But I wanted to do a similar kind of form when it went into the chorus. We'd all go down together, which was the big part, the mass chorus. We'd all go down together. Yes, we would all go down. And then back to this very plain, wide open music, which is pretty much what the Beatles did with A Day in the Life. There's a song on the Nylon Curtain that I wrote for my friends who were veterans of Vietnam. They came back from Vietnam, and they had a difficult transitioning back to civilian life, but nobody was really welcoming them home. This is pretty weighty stuff. And they sat around and they told me they wanted me to write a song for them. And I said, well, I didn't go to Vietnam. Who am I? You know, I don't think I have the credibility to write a song. And they said, we'll tell you what to write. We'll tell you what we went through. And that's where this song, Goodnight, Saigon, came from. She's Right on Time is my attempt to write a Christmas song. I had been asked to do a Christmas album, I think, by people at Columbia Records. And I said, you know, Christmas albums are the last refuge of the creatively bankrupt. You know, I don't want to do a Christmas album. Although I love Christmas, I love Christmas songs, I love Christmas carols, but everybody does a Christmas album. I didn't want to do that, but I did want to write a song about the holiday season, about the spirit of it. And I used these two people who are having a relationship. She's right on time. It's a reunion between people, which makes the season cheerier. Surprises.
break all the records. Oh, wait. Don't get excited, don't say a word. Nobody noticed, nothing was heard. It was committed discreetly, it was handled so neatly, and it shouldn't surprise you at all. You know, really cool chords in that song. Nice musical progression. Break all the records, burn the cassettes. I'd be lying if I told you that I had no regrets. That was written in 1982. Oh, I had a motorcycle accident. And that's what triggered the whole concept, surprises. You know, these things happen. You don't think something like that is going to happen to you, and it does happen to you. And you kind of reevaluate a lot of things. So I was traumatized by the motorcycle. I almost got killed. A woman ran a red light, and I was in the hospital for weeks. My thumb got crushed. My wrist got crushed. And thank God I had a helmet on. But it kind of shook me up pretty good and made me reevaluate things. Scandinavian skies, I had an experience with heroin, which is the first time and the last time I ever did. And we were on a flight to Stockholm from Amsterdam, and it was kind of nightmarish, the whole thing, thinking about playing the blues. Very surreal, the whole thing. If you think of it as a drug experience, you get it. Where's the orchestra? It's allegorical, I think, about a man who goes into adulthood expecting life to be a musical show and recognizing that, no, it's a play. And there's not always going to be a lot of music and dancing in it. It could be tragic. It could be tragicomic. It's using theater as metaphor.